They are having all the shalal, all the thing that they loot from the Jews, from the Plishtim, from everyone. And they are so confident. We are still Chavtet, I think.
Okay, good.
Chavtet or Lamed, I can't remember. Yes, Chavtet. Chavtet.
At the end.
Maybe it's Lamed. Yeah, we are still in Chavtet. Chavtet. What is it? Lamed, sorry. This is page number 5.
Thank you.
Page number 5 here.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
And David, where is it? It was just a miracle, actually. Because, you know, even if they would keep few soldiers around to tell them, you know, someone might come, they would not be in a situation where David just could come with his people and to kill them all. But they did not expect it. In their intelligence, they heard that David and his people also went to the war. So they are having a great party. והנה נטושים על פני כל הארץ, they are all over, אוכלים ושותים וחוגגים. Eating, drinking. You know, by the way, when I read this one, I remember the words of the Na'ar Mitzri that his master threw him away. What happened with him? What the Bible is telling us? He didn't eat, he didn't drink for 3 days. There is something to learn about the people who don't care about their slaves and themselves find it appropriate to sit, to drink, not to think about anyone else, to have a party, chogegim. It's just show you the level, the moral level of the Amalekim another time, and we are going to discuss, this is going to be the main topic of tonight's shir. We also learn that David is going to the people, the 200 people who stayed behind. People who felt maybe bad. The people that went with David looked upon them as losers. And now when it comes to divide all the goods, they tell David the following. Pasuk Chavbet. ויען כל איש רע ובליעל מהאנשים אשר הלכו עם דוד. Everyone who was bad, evil, bad person. ויאמרו, and they said, יען אשר לא הלכו עמי, since these people did not come with me to chase after the Amalekites, לא ניתן להם מהשלל אשר הצלנו. We are not going to share with them everything that we got, which was a lot. כי אם איש את אשתו ואת בניו, וינהגו וילכו. They can take their family. They are not getting a penny from what we got from the Amalekites.
Is it all 400 or just some of them?
Well, it says איש רע ובליעל מהאנשים. It was not everyone. But you can learn that part of these 400 people were evil. You can go with the Mashiach, David HaMelech, a person who is a great person, and to stay an evil person. This is one lesson that we can learn from here. Sometimes we expect that everyone around a great person will be great. You can stay Ish Ra Ublial even around David HaMelech. It's important to know. This is one. David could react in many ways.
Tell Eddie to stop calling.
Sometimes the warrior, and by the way, you can see here, the people are not suggesting, they're just saying what is going to happen. They tell David, even if you want to do anything else, we are not going to give them anything. And David realized here the danger. And when your camp is not united, this is a big problem for a leader. And we saw what kind of people. Remember, in the beginning of the Perek, when they saw what's going on, they wanted to stone him. David has to know how to handle people like this, which is not simple. Chinuch miyuchad. And therefore he said to them something that melts and unarm even the toughest people. Vayomer David, lo ta'asu ken achai. My brothers, we are not doing things like this. When someone calls you a brother, immediately you are a different person. We are not talking, he's not saying, I'm the general here, you are going to listen to me, you will follow exactly my commandments. He doesn't say something like this, because it's not going to work with people like this. It's not going to work. These are people who are bad and ish blial. Now I want to tell you what is blial. Let's, cut the words to two. What is blial? Bliol. A person who does not accept authority. So you can tell him whatever you want, but if you have a student, if you have a person who doesn't care about you, he doesn't give you the proper respect as a leader, then what? You cannot command him. And then you can just use or try to use the weapon, the greatest weapon of all, love and unity. And he said, first of all, it's not ours. את אשר נתן השם לנו, וישמור אותנו, וייתן את הגדוד הבא עלינו בידינו. See what happened here. It's not us. We almost lost everything. If Hashem would not guide us, if Hashem would not save us, we could be now or with the war in the north, and when we come back, there is no chance, 1% that we will get our families back, number one. Number two, see what happened here. We managed to defeat them with no war, basically. Remember what happened? 400 people were flying on the camels and left the place. Now, try to imagine that. 400 people, why the Tanakh is telling us, because I think it's very, very important to understand. If 400 people managed to escape, because they had these very fast camels, how many people stayed behind? Few thousand. I can assume something like this, easily. And on top of this one, who are the people who chased after them? Very tired people. Remember, 200 people could not even make it. They stay on the other side of Nachal Absor. They could not even chase after them. The people are coming after a day and a half of walking from Israel to Nachal Absor, to Tziklag. So, how can you say it's ours? We won this war? Is that true? And think about many of the wars that Israel had. You can say Kol HaKavod LeTzahal, and it's very important because what our soldiers did is unbelievable. But if any of you read the book of Ram Oren about the 6-day war, Michael Oren, about the 6-day war, you know what? You read about all the fantastic things that our commanders did, and at the end you just think, he said, you know what? This is too many things that went surprisingly well, beyond imagination. One success, two success, but everything in every forefront just went unexpectedly well, against the odds actually. Hey, if you remember the story about the Jordanians, how did they enter the war, what did they think when they saw the soldiers in Mizrach Yerushalayim? They came and gave them candy, they thought it's Jordanian. Such unbelievable situation. So David said, it's not ours. Don't have this illusion that it's about us. ומי ישמע לכם לדבר הזה? So who is going to listen to you? כי כחלק היורד במלחמה וכחלק היושב על הכלים יחדיו יחלוקו. We don't have us and them. We are all one army. And that's how we are going to do it. And by the way, you can see the change in the tone of David. He starts like my brothers, and you expect him to talk very softly, but he goes right away. The second pasuk is about this is the way it's going to happen. You know, I remember when I was in yeshiva, you know, the people who are working in the kitchen are not always like the most polite people. And we have few girls who are working. We are working in the kitchen, and they were fighting and screaming on each other. And we had an old Hungarian lady, a big lady, and she ran the kitchen like it was like an army operation. So one time, I remember we went to the Cheder Ochel, and the two girls were screaming on each other and throwing forks on each other. So the lady came from the kitchen, she see this situation, and she was someone that everyone in the yeshiva was afraid of. You know, if she would like scream on you, why do you take 2 portions or something like this, you would like run away. And I saw that she's going to kill them with their own like bare hands. And she said to them, girls, it's not nice. All the yeshiva boys are here. Why are you doing why are you screaming like this? It's not nice. And you know, immediately when she said girls or banot, like she said banot, they immediately like softened. There was no screams, no shouting. The second sentence was, ועכשיו מיד למטבח, and now go to the kitchen immediately. First of all, she disarmed them, but the moment she took control over the situation, she gave the commandment. She said right away, כולם למטבח, and quiet. And it always reminds me how David, like, first of all, he talks to them like brothers. The moment he gained control, he screamed at them, no one is going to listen to you. I'm going to make the rules. Everyone is going to get from the goods that we got from the Amalekim. ויהי מהיום ההוא ומעלה. This became like a rule. וישימיה לחוק ולמשפט לישראל עד היום הזה. And as I said, the beauty of this pasuk is that עד היום הזה, normally in the Tanakh, is until everything was canonized by the Anshei Knesset HaGdolah about 2,400 years ago, or 2,500 years ago. But really, עד היום הזה, it's like Tzal. In Tzal, you know, people are going to the war. You get the decoration for the war. Everyone gets it. The person who was in Afsanaut, the person who was in Sayeret Matkal, the person who was in Givati, in Golani, all the same. Every part, every person in the army has his role, has his importance, and everyone gets the decoration. And that's exactly what David said. The decoration of these days was the ability to share the loot, the goods from the enemy, and everyone is going to get it. This was something that David established until this very day. Now, I want to say something which is very, very important, and I'm going to elaborate over it later. This was not the first time that something like this happened. Because when we read Sefer Bereshit, you remember that Abraham is chasing after the 4 kings who took Melech Sdom and the 5 people in the area of Sdom. And what is he doing? He tells them that everything that they got, he does not want anything but the people of Sdom, and he wanted to liberate Lot, something that we are going to talk about later. But he said, all the people who came with me, they are entitled to get their portion. And this is a great general. The war is over. He thinks about the people who risked their life, and he wants them to feel proud about what they did. And as I said, in the old times, it was the ability to share some of the goods that they took with them in the war. But this is the time that Abraham established a standard, but it's not ad hayom hazeh. Because in this perek, something very, very important is happening. David become a king. We have to read the last perek, where Shaul is going to Balat Ha'or, this perek, and the next perek when Shaul is going to die, as one picture. we are dealing in a situation where one king is departing from the scene, from the scenery, and the next king is coming up. And this is what kings are doing. They make rules that are going to stay for a long time. That's what makes them a king. It's not just a decision that was made on one war, on one case. These are the rules. And what is a king? The king is mechokek מבין רגליו. In the ברכה of Yaakov to Yehuda was, לא יסור שבט מיהודה ומחוקק מבין רגליו. Which means, mechokek, a person who does the rules, makes the rules, this is a king. One of the important jobs or roles of a king is to make rules. And here David is a warrior, one of the jobs of a king. But not only that, he makes rules. And this is very, very important, as we are going to see very, very soon. ויבוא דוד אל ציקלג. By the way, okay, one more thing, I'm sorry. One more thing. Interestingly enough, I want to tie it to a story in Sefer Shmot. You know, in Sefer Shmot, Bnei Israel, after Yetziat Mitzrayim, they start to behave like good Jews. They start to complain. So, where was the first complaint after all the miracles? Which shows you that the Jew is like that, nothing is going to defeat this like feeling that I can complain, I'm important, I have something to say about it. It's immediately after Kriyat Yam Suf. וילכו 3 ימים במדבר ולא מצאו מים. What does that remind you?
Oh, 3 days. The
Who?
3 days of...
The 3 days of the person, the Nar Mitzri is going in the Midbar and he is also thirsty, cannot find water. Vayavou Marata, Hashem bring them to a place by the name Mara. Remember the people that went with David? How the Tanakh describe them? Marei Nefesh, bitter people. And I'm going to talk about it, it's not by incident. ולא יכלו לשתות מים ממרה, כי מרים הם, על כן קרא שמה מרה. 4 times in the same pasuk, mar, 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 mar. Which means the whole thing is talking about a bitter experience. וילונו העם על משה, מה נשתה? ויצעק אל השם, ויורהו השם עץ, וישלך אל המים, וימתקו המים. And listen to the next words. שם שם לו חוק ומשפט, ושם ניסהו. Hashem gave them חוק ומשפט, and it was a ניסיון for them. What was ניסיון? I'll tell you what, the חוק ומשפט, because I'm going to explain it in a second, why it was a ניסיון. But the same word says here. What David is doing? ויהי מהיום ההוא ומעלה, וישימיה לחוק ולמשפט. The same words. What do we have here? 3 days in the desert with no water, coming to a place where they can drink, but they can't actually because the water are too bitter. And we have the same kind of people, marei nefesh. I told you many, many times, in the Tanakh, unlike today, where we have a text or we have in the internet, there are like links, like you can, as he said last year, and there is a link that takes you to another site that tells you what he said a year ago, or something like this. Links, it's a big thing today. Hyperlinks, links. The Torah, I'm sorry, had it in a slightly different way. The Torah is talking to, making these hyperlinks that you don't click, it clicks here. By using words, concepts which are similar, the Torah wants you to think about similarities. And I'll tell you what is a similarity here. Moshe just made a miracle. He gave them water. That's very nice and very important. They were thirsty 3 days. But why was it important to do chok u'mishpat? Why here chok u'mishpat? Wait until Har Sinai, you are going to get the Torah, many chukim u'mishpatim, 613. Why now, when they came to Marah, God gave them laws, or Moshe gave them chok u'mishpat? What happened here? What is your take? This is a simple story in the Torah. Why here, while they got to Marah, it was important to give them chok u'mishpat? Why?
Because each one had to share.
Very good. I'm going to talk about it in a second. She talked about sharing, although we don't see it yet. Yes, I'm going to fill up the gap between what you say and what I want, what the pasuk is teaching us. Yes.
Well, you started out by saying they were in the midbar already for 3 days and they were bitter. They were upset. So a lot of people who don't have the right mindset needs to have rules.
So here is the point. You see, it's very, very much the same. You are talking, who are the people that Moshe is going with and the people that David is going with? Okay, this is like 400 people, these are 600,000. But the mentality might be quite the same. They were Avadim. They were ruled by others. They got this liberty that they don't know exactly what to do with. And if you want to create a nation, the first thing to do, that you must do, is to create rules. You cannot take a group of people and to take them from a situation of slaves to noble people if you don't put clear rules immediately. And Moshe realized here that the problem is not the water. Because the water is a problem today, okay, we will solve it. But what tomorrow? People with no rules are people that will stone their leaders upon opportunity. And that's exactly what happened in the Midbar. You can see it was a series of lessons to take a nation of slaves from the very bottom of society, the very bottom of levels, and to make them a nation that keep rules. And David HaMelech is doing exactly the same. He takes people marei nefesh, and the first thing that he does, he said, here there will be rules. I'm not going to be a leader of gang, of people who are doing whatever, bandits who decide upon their wish how things are going to go. We are going to have rules. Sham sam chok u'mishpat, by Moshe and by David. And the rules are the same. What kind of rules he gave them? What is the chok u'mishpat? So Chachamim says, I'll quote Rashi, he gave them a Shabbat, Para Aduma, Vedinim. These 3 mitzvot, so Shabbat, it was the first time that they started to keep Shabbat. Then it was Para Aduma, and then Dinim. Dinim in the whole Shulchan Aruch, how people behave to each other. Now let me ask you a very simple question. Forget about Shabbat and Para Aduma. I'm not going to give a shiur about Parshat HaShavua. But why Dinim here? Why Dinim here? To understand this, you should be the Parshanim. Because you know, problem with the Parshanut, when we read the Torah, I told you it many, many times, and actually this year changed my way of learning the Tanakh. Because it's so easy to read the Pasuk, to read the Rashi, to read the Radak, and to get some idea about things which happen. But it's like, and I told you many, many times, when you read something and you don't put yourself in a situation, you cannot really appreciate what happened there. So let's try. You already hear the noise of 600,000 people, only males, and the children and the women, and they have no water, and they scream and they cry, and they go to Moshe Rabbeinu, and there is a miracle. Moshe Rabbeinu is throwing a whole wood into the water which were bitter, they become sweet. Now what happened? You tell me. The Torah does not tell us. You tell me, what do you think happened next?
Everybody pushes and shoves to be first.
Of course. Can you imagine 3 days, people had no water, they came to the water, they cannot drink, they are frustrated to no end, and lo and behold, Moshe is performing a miracle, and the water are good. What next? I can assure you 100% what happened. And you know, we cannot judge them. It's maybe we smile now, but we cannot judge people like this. Think about the people, as I told you before, that, you know, just left the camps after years of starvation. And here came the American and they give them the chocolate and all the other things. They cannot control themselves. And I'm sure that there is like a big pool here of water. You have 600,000 people, and each one is running to the water, first of all, to drink to himself, to bring to his children, to her children. Everyone is started to scream. But listen, it's just one big pool, and you have like millions of people. And I'll tell you what they did. Like what slaves are doing in a situation like this. They start to punch each other. And I'm sure that the next day, like, the doctors were like very, very busy. Because everyone says, I'm the first, מה פתאום אתה, אני הייתי פה אתמול, אני הייתי פה לפני כן. And they start to scream and to fight. And Moshe Rabbeinu saw that it's not about the water, it's about the nation. What kind of nation is going to be here? שם שם חוק ומשפט ושם ניסהו. You know what was the dinim? How much each family get, how much water, who is getting first, the children, the sick, the women before the men. How many times you can take the water, because I'm sure that people did, you know, especially, we know, you know, I told you a few times, I had friends that told me that their parents, after the Holocaust, and it was 20 years after the Holocaust, put like bread under the mattresses. So here, you are with no water, you are in the desert, everyone tried to take a little bit more than the other one, just to make sure that tomorrow you're going to have water. In a situation like this, you have to be very tough and to make sure that there are clear rules for everyone to share, to share. And the same idea is with David. Everyone, especially Ish Mar Nefesh, who experienced loss and now victory, and he doesn't know, he's not educated enough to know what does that mean. He needs rules, how to share. It's not only about you, there are other people, and we must share. And therefore the Torah uses the same words. In Shmot, Sham, Sam, Lo, Chok u'Mishpat, and here by David. The Chok u'Mishpat is how to share things of people who are going to war and the people in the desert. It's exactly the same thing. And by the way, it might be that there is another famous word that comes from the same idea. Because the Torah says, ויצעק אל השם, ויורהו השם עץ, וישלך אל המים וימתקו המים. So what Hashem is telling him, what Hashem is doing, ויורהו עץ. So the Targum is, he showed him a tree. But he doesn't say, ויראהו עץ, ויורהו עץ. How do we call a teacher? מורה. הוראה. You see the connection between Mara, bitter people, and More. It all comes to set the same idea. People who are bitter are people who have no all. They need someone to teach them. And I think that in Lashon HaKodesh, it's not a wonder that lack of authority, as we see in Mara, as we see by people who are bitter, Anshei Blial, What is the solution? Vayoreu Hashem etz. Hashem said, you know what? The solution to this is just education. Hora'ah. So Chachamim say that Vayoreu Hashem etz, he gave him the Torah. That's exactly what is the etz. Etz chaim ila machzikim ba v'tomchei ha'meushar. It's all beautiful, but the idea is that you have to teach people to accept authority. That's exactly what Moshe is doing, and that's exactly what David HaMelech was doing. I am going to teach these people how to accept authority. And this was his first lesson of the becoming king. And what is he doing? Vayavo David el Tziklag. So they going back to Tziklag. וישלח מהשלל לאנשי יהודה, לזקני יהודה, לרעהו, לאמור, הנה לכם ברכה משלל אויבי השם. You see, not only the people who went to the war. Remember, the Amalekim took it from someone. They took it from the people who were sitting at the southern side of Yehuda. And David feels this is such an opportunity to return it back to them. So first of all, we can see something very important. First of all, think about your friends. That's important. It's not something that is selfish. You have friends. You want to sustain this friendship. He sent to them first. And how does he say it? הנה לכם ברכה משלל אויבי אדוני. Why doesn't he say, הנה לכם ברכה משלל אויביכם, from your enemies? Because by David, and we highlighted it many, many times, his vision is very, very simple. The Jewish people represent God. There is no difference. Protecting the Jewish people is like protecting God. Attacking the Jewish people is attacking God. He said in Sefer Tehillim, על עמך יערימו סוד ויתייעצו על צפוניך. Yes, the war is against the Jewish people, but the war is against God. How can you conduct a war against Hashem? Invisible, powerful. You do it against the people of Israel. And therefore David says, here is a shalal that you can get from the enemies of Hashem. It's not your enemies. By attacking you, they basically attacking Hashem. And he, the person that Hashem gave him the Spirit of God, he sees it. And therefore he returned the rechush to them. לאשר בביתל, ולאשר ברמות נגב, לאשר ביתיר. We all know today the wonderful wine that come from Yatir, this area of between Hebron and Be'er Sheva. לאשר בערוער, לאשר בספמות, לאשר באשתמוע, לאשר ברכה, לאשר בהרי רחמלי, לאשר בהרי קיני, לאשר בחורמה, לאשר בבור השן, לאשר באתר, ולאשר בחברון. חברון, the city that David is going to conquer and is going to establish for 7 years the capital of the Jewish people. ולכל המקומות אשר התהלך שם דוד הוא ואנשיו. Now, do you hear the celebration here? There is like a poem. לאשר בסיפמה, לאשר ברחמלי, לאשר בענג וקיני. In the Bible, usually when you repeat it this way, it's like a poem. It's actually a modern poem, right? It's you don't need even the rhymes or anything like, you just build it like Shira. Why? Because this is a song that actually the harbinger of David as a king. The Perek ends, although in the north there is a tragedy to happen, but regarding David, this is a song of becoming a king. And therefore the Bible ends this Perek in a way of kind of a poem. And again, David is smart. David is actually ensure that Yehuda, the people of Yehuda, are staying his friends. And he give them the gifts. He show them who is the boss, the person who won the victory, but he does not think only about himself. He think about them too. And from here, it will be very easy to go to the next topic that I promised you the last time. So now, we are going to explore something very, very important, and we will reread the perek in the following way. A revision. Question number one. Question number one. The end of Sefer Shmuel. Who is the hero or the main character? Is it Shaul or is it David? What do you think? Like when we write the story of Shaul and what we read in the last perek, going to Baalat Ahov, asking her what is going to happen, the next perek is going to talk about his death the next day. And in the middle, we have this perek about David. And you know, a very simple question. If I would put the prakim together, the chapter together, I would do it in the following way. Shaul is going to Baalat Ahov. She's telling him, tomorrow you are dead, you and your children are going to be with me. And I would expect to know, okay, so what happened? And I would tell you, in the Gilboa, as we are going to see in the next chapter, David and Shaul and his children died. And I would end the Sefer with a story about David. ודוד לא ידע מכל זאת, he wasn't there. He went to Tziklag, and what a beautiful way to end actually perek, that perek, Sefer Shmuel Aleph. With the victory of David over the Amalekites, we actually close the circle because Shaul failed, because he didn't fight against the Amalekites. David fight the Amalekites and win, and from now on it's going to be like, you know, uphill. A path, David becoming the king of Israel completely. Why we have this in between the story of Baalat Ahov, we have the story of David. Question number one. It bothers me. Question number two. Sorry. You know, when a very simple question, and actually insignificant maybe. When David is coming back with his people, with his warriors to Tziklag, it says the following: וישא דוד והעם אשר איתו את כולם ויבכו עד אשר אין בהם כוח לבכות. They had no even energy anymore to shed tears. ושתי נשי דוד נשבו. Two of his wives were captured too. אחינועם הישראלית, אחינועם from ישראל, עמק יזרעאל, ואביגיל, אשת נבל הכרמלי. I don't like it. She's already like a year and a half. She's not the wife of Naval HaKarmeli. She married David, Kadat v'Kadim. You know, just imagine, you know, a person like a woman got married the second time, and every time she's going with her new husband somewhere, she's introduced, oh, and she was the wife of this person, like the first husband. It's just not nice. Why the Bible still calling her Eshet Naval HaKarmeli? It really bothers me. Okay, there was a second marriage, he died, he was not a nice person. Why to still call her Eshet Naval HaKarmeli? Question number 2. And then I really decided to reread the story about Naval HaKarmeli. Well, why is it Tanakh? Just make this link. I told you, it's about linkage. And I learned one thing from our shiurim together. When the Tanakh is sending me to another place, I really like to see what happened there. And maybe I will get a better idea about the story that we already learned. And I saw that there are few interesting things, similarities, which tells me that the link is not like a random one in one place, but consistent one. So this was the first one. Then it says the following. David had 400 people and 200 people. 2 of them stayed here and 400 of them stayed here. Well, I remember these numbers from the Perek about Naval HaKarmeli, from Perek Chafei. I'll read you the Pasuk. So first of all, for the people that maybe missed the story about Naval HaKarmeli, Naval HaKarmeli was an extremely rich person who lived in Carmel, which is between Hebron and Be'er Sheva too. We sometimes, unfortunately, hear about it in the newspaper, in the news. It's not far away from an Arab village that is called Khalkhul, which are terrible terrorists. Yeah, this is Carmel. Today there is also Yishuv Yehudi by the name of Carmel. And David is sending a delegation asking him to support them. Not for free. He said, you know, we protected your cattle. He had 3,000 heads of, what does it say? 3,000 צאן, 1,000 עזים, and apparently lots of people around. And we can see, I told you then, that what David used to do, he was a Shomer al-Chadash. He was doing patrols over the southern border of Yehuda, protecting them from the Amalekites, from the Shurites, from the Prizim, all these bandits who, that was the way they made living. And he asked Naval to recognize it. Naval said, Mi David, mi Ben Ishai, hayom rabu avadim המתפרצים איש מפני אדוניו. Who are you guys? You are a bunch of slaves המתפרצים מפני אדוניו. And it was true. Because I told you, who were the people with David? People who could not pay their loans. Who went with David? Why to risk your life for David? The answer is, they had no other choice. And they had an opportunity, actually. They were running from Shaul, the king, who gave them high taxes. They could not pay. They apparently were in danger, as we are going to see. What happened to people who did not pay their loans then? We are complaining about the system today. Then it was much worse. We are going to talk about it. And they joined David, who protected them. He ran from Shaul, they ran from Shaul, and Naval said, you guys, a bunch of bandits, what? You are just people who are basically supposed to be in a prison, to be sold for avadim. And what does he say? And I am going to take lachmi vemeimai, I'm going to take my bread, my water, and to give it to you, because it's the desert. Even water is quite scarce and hard to get. Which reminded me our perek about taking the bread and feeding the Na'ar Mitzri, giving him water. Remember what they gave him. They gave him dvelim, dry figs, vetzimukim, dry grapes. What Abigail brought David when she heard that David is about to go and kill her husband and all his household? She bring him dvelim vetzimukim. And not only that, you know what she is telling him? I'll tell you exactly the words. ותאמר לו, אלו לנעריך. I brought it to your people, to your warriors. Exactly as David is doing with his warriors. He gave them the goods because he understands the importance of keeping the Na'arim sustained, well sustained. Then, how does she call him? She said to David, אל נא ישים אדוני את ליבו אל איש הבליעל הזה על נבל. She calls him איש בליעל. Exactly as the pasuk by us is calling the people who don't want to share what they got in the war. אנשי בליעל. אנשי בליעל. Too many similarities. we have again the same, ויעלו אחרי דוד כ400 איש ו200 ישבו על הכלים. Then another thing, what Naval is doing when Abigail is coming back, it says, והנה לו משתה בביתו כמשתה המלך, ולב נבל טוב עליו והוא שיכור עד מאוד. Do you get the picture in your mind? She comes back home and he has a party, like the biggest party in all Hebron area. Apparently everyone is coming כמשתה המלך. Who is partying by us? The Amalekites. And I'm going to talk about it. And of course, what is the most important thing that happened as a result of the story of Abigail and David? What happened then in the end of the Perek? Naval died, and what happened to Abigail? She became the wife of David. What happened in the end of our Perek? David get back Abigail to be his wife. I believe that the hero of the end of Sefer Shmuel is not actually describing the end of the life of Shaul. The end of Sefer Shmuel is telling us why David was chosen to be the king. And the story about Shaul is a minor story compared to the big picture of the Bible is telling us. We want you to understand what happened here. Why Shaul lost his kingdom and why David is the right king. What makes a great king? That's a question here. What makes a great king? I think that rereading the story, there is something, as I said a few times, an elephant in the room that we have to find, and it's a huge elephant in the room, and we don't see it. Yeah, we don't see it, but I will show it to you clear. And I think that indeed, the way Naval is answering the people of David is telling us a great deal about what happened here. והיה נבל את עבדי דוד ויאמר מי דוד ומי בן ישי. If he say David, we all know that he's talking about Ben Ishai. David was the son of Ishai. So the pshat is, Ben Ishai, you don't even call him by his name, he's the son of his father. It's a little bit, it's not like Aliyah Torah, that you call someone, David ben Ishai, Aryeh ben Yecheskel. What is David? Mi David umi ben Ishai. Hayom, he said, Rabu avadim המתפרצים איש מפני אדוניו. And I want to remind you what happened next. David is so upset. He's taking his cherev and he's about to kill Naval and all his people. Wait. That sounds a little bit crazy. Naval is not a nice person, but you don't take your army